We've just finished the big New York debate between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, and now we're going to talk about who won that debate, which is always an interesting topic. I'm going to give roughly the same response that I always do. It's similar to what Jimmy was saying during our live debate coverage. I think that if you're a Hillary supporter, if you're a Bernie supporter, I think that you're going to find things to like out of this, and I think there are things to criticize about both performances. What always matters is how is this going to impact people who had not already decided. I think that, like Jimmy said, I think that that number is probably smaller than it was in previous contests, considering that we've had 9 debates already, and that New York decided that you had to register in 2006 to be able to vote next Tuesday. So it might not actually matter. I would say that they both gave strong performances. I lean towards Bernie in this case, not because he gave a universally great performance, but because the second half was better than the first, and he closed strong, I think. What do you guys think?
I will say...
Who won?
I would say Bernie wins every time in a sense because he gets to get his message out. And it's a message you don't hear anywhere else. In fact, that stuff he said about Israel tonight was fucking revolutionary. You'll never hear another American politician say that stuff. So in that sense, it's a huge win. And of course, there's ways I wish he would say them better. I wish he would make the case of how affordable all this stuff is, how much money he doesn't talk about the $80 billion a month we gave in quantitative easing every month, and if we just took 1 month of that, we could pay for everybody's college. So he still isn't putting it in simple terms, but overall, he is the winner, but a lot of people could say Hillary's the winner because I don't think this debate's going to sway too many votes.
What do you think?
I thought that it was, first of all, this assessment of every debate has been wrong. Like I don't see it the way anybody else do. So I was trying to see this through that prism, but it's nearly impossible. I think Bernie won the debate by a lot. I thought this was her weakest performance. I thought that she was, in part because of Dana Bash's tenaciousness, that by the time that early in the debate, that third try from Dana Bash on the transcripts, when Hillary got booed, it resonated. Again, I know it's we can surmise who the booing was from. It's the same people who were screaming for Bernie were booing that. We're just a bunch of guys who hate women and think they should stay home. Right? Yeah. No, I get it, but it was a moment of, oh Jesus, right? Like you can't. What she should say to me in an honest world, I'm not going to release the transcripts because I gave those transcripts to banks and the media, who I don't trust, and you don't really trust either. It's going to take all that stuff out of context, and I'm going to spend the next 2 months explaining away those speeches, which I honestly wish I'd never gave. But I'm rich as hell, and if you think $675,000 over 3 stitches to Goldman Sachs buys me off, you haven't paid attention to my career.
Because I'm way more expensive than that.
We don't live, right, but I am, right. But we don't live in that world that happens. So I thought she was particularly weak on that. I thought she was particularly terrible on Libya and Syria.
Terrible.
I don't think Bernie's great either, ever, on foreign policy, but it didn't really seem to come up this time. And his anger and tenaciousness had the effect of putting her much more on the defensive than I think she was in the other debates, if I'm remembering correctly, and I think that helps him.
Here's my opinion. The first half of the debate, Bernie was the clear winner. There's no question about it. The second half of the debate, she won, and she ended on a high note. And I'll tell you, it's like a movie. No one cares what the fuck happens at the midpoint or Act 2. They care about the ending. And she ended well. She ended strong.
Really? That's about exactly
I'm not saying she's got my vote. What I'm saying is, in the performance, like trained monkey performance they go through, her first act, she was caught on a lot of stuff, and she looked stupid. And Act 2, she came back, and she was able to prevaricate between everything they were asking her.
Yeah, I didn't think it, for whatever reason, I found her prevarications more annoying than usual. I always find them a little annoying. I found them
I thought they were
annoying.
unusual. What hurt Bernie, I thought, and granted she didn't answer the question, which is the cap. The cap. That he had to yell over for it, I think, hurt him because there was going to be the follow-up question anyway.
It's not that important. Like, again, we get bogged down in 2 candidates who want to support and strengthen Social Security. I really don't think Hillary Clinton's going to let Social Security go into the tank.
No, she's not.
Yeah, and Bernie has a more aggressive way of dealing with it. That's one of the things that I like about him. But we ended up, he ends up needling her, as Wes was saying, over something that doesn't seem to me to be needle-worthy.
For me, what I hear on the environment is, how I decide. And for her, she's an incrementalist. And I think Sanders is absolutely right. Scientists seem to believe Sanders is absolutely right. We need to do emergency measures now.
We need like
Has
an
to happen
environmental Manhattan
now.
But, you know,
project.
real just to Wes's point about the second half, I thought Bernie's best moment, I wrote down the time, came at 7:39, so solidly in the second half when he sort of wrapped up his moment about healthcare and education. And it got thunderous applause. He was direct about it. Like, we'd gone back and forth on it, and he was like, "Look, of course we can pay for it. We pay for it by prioritizing it, by making it valuable. Other countries do it. We can do it. It's crazy that we can't." And there's an unwillingness on her part to tackle this. So I thought that was good, which is why I don't quite agree that it was that it split on the half.
Well, I don't mean just at the break. Just her last 15 minutes
okay.
were strong. A lot stronger than the
I
rest
think
of
her
her
killing
debate.
Why don't you move the
Enthusiasm.
goalpost some more?
Yeah.
Wes? Go ahead.
Okay, listen, the last 30 seconds, she was fucking on.
I think the last 30 seconds perfectly demonstrates. I mean, look, she's still winning in pledged delegates in the popular vote, but the effect that she's going to have on the future of the Democratic Party. He gets everybody fired up, and then she comes in and just saps every ounce of energy out of the room.
Oh,
and
did
young
she?
people tuned out and started watching Naked and Afraid again.